to another episode of the Middle Eight Podcast.
Woohoo!
Terry V.
I'm Jermaine Riley. Because I don't know where you're pointing to if you're pointing to.
You know what? It come like Usher. You know what the Usher clip when they say someone told him he's in the middle, and man's just like.
In it.
And I'm Ricardo Williams.
Wagwan.
Yes. So, how have you been, guys? How's life treating you in lockdown 50.0?
Listen, I've adapted. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, adapt. You have to adapt and adjust, innit?
I've fully adapted. I've what them call it? Retrained. No, I'm joking. I ain't reskilled. I ain't doing none of that. I'm just saying, like, I've just come. You know, I've found things to keep my fire alight creatively, and got my daily routine. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't, but I've learned to not even stress myself out. Like my boyfriend the other day was like, "Oh, when are you gonna start?" Like he obviously gets up and does his work from his iPad, works from home sometimes, and he's like, have you done any work today? I'm like, no, and I'm fine with that because I know that my work comes in waves and waves. So like I make decisions to make time for myself to be like, I haven't done nothing today. I haven't even showered today. And I'm fine with that. Okay. So let me just watch my little Daredevil sit in.
I hear you, but you must wash your skin.
You must
obviously.
Yeah, at some point you gotta bathe.
Obviously, but I'm saying like there's no stress or pressure applied to my day unnecessarily because it's a pandemic. So
you know, I think that it's important that you get yourself into
yeah, tell him. That's right.
But yeah, how's it been for you guys?
Ricardo?
It's been all right, you know. Yeah, like you, I'm just adjusting. We're just saying off camera that I've been working from home since April, and I'm just getting to a point where I just want it. Not that I want the lockdown to be over, because I'm an advocate of doing it right. I feel like we're here because we've done it wrong and we could have avoided this many times. But like I just feel like home used to be really safe for me. And I used to like go to work and then come back. And now it's like I'm just always here in work. So I despise my space at the moment. So I'm just trying to work out how to just get that balance right where home still feels like home. But I enjoy it. I can still like roll out the bed, you know what I mean, with 30 minutes before I have to jump on my first morning call and that. So I'm enjoying it. And then when it's home time, I just bust the door to the next room and that's it. But yeah, man, it's adjusting, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I feel the same. I mean, adjusting and thinking about like other ways to kind of like use my experience to help like the next generation has been fun for me, working with young people and like in the arts and stuff like that. It's been wicked. So just been doing that and then just like thinking, do you know what I'm actually thinking about? Like when things are open again, I'm actually going to want to go anywhere.
Because I feel anywhere as in back at like Shubs in and restaurants.
Like, you know, like in my mind, I think some things I'm not interested in anymore. It's mad.
Facts.
Like, and I don't know if that will change, but I just feel like going to certain events and that, I'm just going to be like, I don't know.
Facts. The effort.
What is club? What is club?
Right.
Clubhouse is as far as it's going.
You know the lashment of it all is now I know that I can do meetings on Zoom. No man is gonna call me to London to come do a meeting when we could do it right here.
Right? What are we saying?
Right.
Yeah? Because my food is in the microwave. Okay.
In 15 minutes we'll be able to do it.
Right. Speaking of, I think Jermaine mentioned Clubhouse. Speaking of Clubhouse, I think I know. What is going on? Because that app has just turned into a beef space, a flipping madness. Like, all I'm hearing, people's account is getting suspended, and people are just being so like negative. I just don't know. I just some people really like the sound of their own voice.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, like I'm hearing now. Go on.
I feel like it's a reflection of how fragile people are during this time. And yeah, the hearing your own voice thing, imagine like it's all cooped up energy that they would have spent going out at venues, fraternizing with different peoples at their brunches and their club events and blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's all like trying to mentally adjust, especially like busy people who have brands that they care about. We constantly have to like, you know, talk to people and act like they're in a certain position in society or whatever. But if you're in your house like everyone, you don't get to exercise that you know, that bossy vibe. Do you get me? So, but you have to. So it's all cooped up on Clubhouse, and that's when you're like, guys, read the room or whatever the fuck the terminology is. Like,
let me land.
Yeah, let me land, and all the rest of it, and just trying to push your, you know, push your elbows out to, you know, and maintain that clout that you would have in these streets.
Yeah.
And it's just, it spills over because you've got how much people in one space trying to big up their chest.
Yeah, that's the thing. The moderator, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, and I feel like that's the reason why me as someone who is in the audience, I always like, there's only so much I can take. I have to just dip my toe and leave quietly. And because I'm like, this sounds like a battle of the egos right now. And that's not to say that I'm insecure about my position. I just like, because I've stayed in rooms for hours when it's genuine banter and no one's got their back up and everyone's there for the fun of it all and looking to have a good evening. But you've got people on there, and this is how I know it's down to like, oh my gosh, like what is my life? And I need to express this this ego to people that I usually would, is because people start rooms at 2, don't finish till 8. Like, what are you doing with your day?
That's right. Does your throat not hurt? Like, how are you still talking?
Wanting to express, how have you got anything left? It's just all built up.
And there's no structure. It's just people just talking.
Yeah.
I was in a room the other. I went in one of my favorite rooms the other day. Actually, Music Soul Child's welcome party.
Oh man, I missed that room.
That was so good. That was so good. Like that was like, that's when I thought, okay, this is what Clubhouse has. Is a positive. He was like, they invited, like everyone that wanted to speak, I feel like got a chance to speak. And he was answering people's questions about why he wrote songs, and this is how you know, like he has written, poured everything out of his heart, even if it, I think I tweeted about it, like even if it made him look like a bad breed at times, or maybe an unfair partner, a Ginnels cheater, whatever, he's literally like gone in the booth, gone in the studio, or sat down with his pen and just poured out whatever was on his heart and mind. And people were asking him questions. He had source, like to be like, I wrote that because sometimes as a man, yada yada yada, and sometimes when you become a dad, and sometimes when your parents aren't, it's like, it was mad, and it was so good. And it took me back to like seeing him live at Indigo 02 one time, and I like in every line and singing every ad-lib, or any ad-lib that he kept that was on the original, because he doesn't do that often. But I was thinking like, this is, I didn't realize how much Music Soul Child's songs I know, like in the back of my, like lyric for lyric, ad-lib for ad-lib, like, because he's just such a great storyteller. And I think one of the positive responses that I've taken from Clubhouse of recently. But,
yeah, and you don't realize that there's at the concerts until the song starts, and then you're like, oh my! I remember when previous Cats started. Yeah, I was facing the bar. Yeah, if you ever been to Indigo 2, that's what it's called. Yeah, Indigo 2.
Yeah.
Like the stage is behind you, you're facing the bar. I couldn't give a fuck about that drink when that song started. I was losing it. I was, you know, like when you're looking for someone who's gonna understand you. This is my chain.
Yeah. Oh, you like you want to shake someone like, oh,
yeah. Oh my gosh, man.
How do you find the Clubhouse though?
Do you know what? I'm glad you softened it with like the positives and those moments, because I was gonna come with fire and vim.
Speak your truth, talk your shit.
Do you know what? I think like both of you said, I feel like Clubhouse is maybe it's like I keep saying, maybe it's the bubble that I follow. It just feels very toxic at the moment. It feels very negative. It just feels like a waste of people's time. I just feel like we're all bored now. Like, how many times are you gonna spin up a room talking about UK music and you're not an A&R? Like, you're not doing so. You know what? I'm talking the things today. If anyone wants to send for me, I am at Ricardo Williams on Instagram.
Oh, I've got your back on this one. I've got your back.
So,
what are you talking about?
Feel free to tweet me or whatever. But I just feel like, so firstly, it's the music rooms I hate, is because, all right, you don't have no credibility in terms of, you're not an A&R, you're not a gatekeeper, you're not going to open doors for anybody. You're just there trying to big up yourself. I don't know whether it's people's play to become an A&R eventually, but these music rooms are like, okay, you're going to give me critique on something. You're not a musician. You're not like a mastermind like Quincy Jones. Like do you know what I mean? You're just someone from the street. And so I'm going to play you my tune. You're going to tell me, yeah, that's nice. This will work. And then what? What do I do as an artist? What now? Like, where do I go with this? And like, so that pisses me off. Then there's the ego rooms where people are just there chatting about themselves for X amount of hours. Then there's the things that I'm really like, I'm really afraid of. Like, there's a lot of issues within our own community that I believe need to be discussed within our community. No family is perfect, right? And there's some stuff, just like we all grow up in Jamaican households, there's some stuff that we discuss inside, yeah? And we don't discuss it out a door. When we go out a door, we put on the smiles, airs and graces, and whatever, we do life. But inside, we can't be talking about some of our skeletons like we are doing on a public forum, especially when the eyes of the world is on our community. Especially,
and they're saying it's a safe space. It's not a safe space.
It's not a safe space. It's not a safe space because again, there's people that are not within the borders looking in and already have preconceptions and views of how we behave, talk, act, or whatever, and that's just gonna perpetuate that whole cycle. Then also there's this fake space where people just want to draw people out. So that MUA thing that happened the other day, yeah, I just felt
tell the people what you're talking about.
So I don't know her name. What's her name? I don't even want to say names because I know people like to drag people want to drag people on the internet. So anyway, there's a famous moderator. I think we all know her, who she is or whatever. And I don't have no problem, no beef with her. She's doing what she's doing. She's building her brand, whatever. She spins up rooms and they're very popular. Popular to the fact where people make other rooms that are literally just listening to that room so other people can join. Do you know what I mean? And there's like 15,000 people listening to the same bits of content. So there was a room that went up the other week and it was talking about nightmare stories about I don't know if it was a particular MUA.
No, just in general.
In general, and then there's a few names that kept coming up, right? And then that person became the target of whatever, being dragged on the internet. Now, for me, like, I just felt when I heard, so I kept dipping in and out of that room, and I just felt it was just very negative. It was almost like when people were coming up on the stage and trying to give positive, I don't know, positive experiences with MUAs and whatever. It was like, oh, okay, yeah. But anytime it was Passa, it was like, yeah, give me the tea, like talk up. And then that spills over to Twitter. And then everyone from Twitter starts to, you know what I mean, chime in. And then it just felt like one big negative space. And then the people that the negativities directed towards, they're not in a position where they can either explain a situation or even defend themselves in a certain way. They literally could be at home yamming their dinner, and all of a sudden, bam, now you're being dragged on the internet, and it's too late. Like, the minute you get dragged, it's too late for you to come with sorries, or too late to come with a statement. That's it. It's just a one time. And I just feel like when those spaces are created, there's got to be a better way to moderate some of the things that are going to happen outside of that, and just be mindful that people have lives, people have careers. We all make mistakes. I've done some things in business where I haven't like bumped anyone, but I've done some wrong things. You know what I mean? But I've learned, and I've also been given the space to correct those things. So it just feels like very negative in there, man. And it's like, gone.
Do you know what's peak about it for me as well? It's like, I've been in certain rooms, the moderator's name, Ashley Louise, I've been in certain rooms of hers that's been so dope and so nice. But I felt like with that one, although I'm not one of those people that's saying that she's to blame for, Jermaine, I'm not one of those people that's saying that she's to blame for anyone's losing their livelihood or anything. However, my only gripe was physically myself hearing her saying the streets are saying, by saying streets she meant in Twitter, hashtag the streets are saying they want to hear the juicy stories. I want to hear the negative stories. And I think with that, what happens is you because you do have clout on the app and you are a known moderator, you are steering the narrative in the more negative way. And that's not to say that, you know, if these people provided a better service, then this wouldn't happen. Granted, but the fact of the matter, I think there should be, you should be able to create a bit balance. More, just a bit more balance.
Agreed.
I had my favorite makeup artist, Makeup by Sasha. Somebody came on there and bigged her up, and they gave her a rave review, and it was like, oh, thank you, next. Like, do you know what I mean? But somebody that's like, oh, yeah, this girl, like, she had me waiting for an hour and a half. Then she had her dog sleeping on my makeup brushes, blah 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 blah.
And our mum was cooking in the kitchen and all that kind of,
Tell me more, because the streets want to know. And it's just like, we've got to be so careful, because really and truly, if we're going to be so honest, culturally, we love a passer. We love a drama that doesn't involve us. We love a drama that we're not in the firing line of. So then, so we're going to listen to people encouraging us to feed that beast. And that's when I think it's kind of starts going pear-shaped. But yeah.
Do you know what it is about Clubhouse as well? It's like, it's watching this whole birth of another social media network again, and all the same trappings that we know. People are on early doors to try and get their foot in the door to become like a super whatever user on that.
Become the Jason Derulo of the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's fighting to do. And it's almost like people are willing to do anything. Derulo, isn't it? That's right. People are now willing to do almost anything to get a clout on that platform, because all the others are spent. It's too late to be king on Twitter, and it's too late to be king on Instagram, and it's too late to be king on TikTok or whatever. So this is like everyone's chance now to be something.
Start afresh,
and it just, And some of that as well. Like when you see some of the bios, Cherry, like
oh yes, I've seen them.
I'm sitting there like,
I am A&R, I'm a choreographer, I'm a property investor, I have stocks on trades on the market. I am a entrepreneur.
Stocks on trades.
And I don't mind if you're being aspirational. Do you know what I mean? If you're this is it. You can be aspirational. You can, you know, I'm on my flex. I'm trying to, you know what I mean, make my life better. But people are lying. People are lying, like literally lying. Like you're not an A&R. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. I've seen some things in people's bios, and I'm like, nah, you're taking the PII snakes, man. Like, who are you trying to fool? And why? Why are we doing this? We're in a, like, this thing annoys me because in my head, I think we're in a pandemic. Like, people are actually dying left, right, and center. People have lost their jobs. People are losing their homes. People are losing their livelihoods. Like, we're in a dire situation. It's great that we can have a little escape and it's banter and fun and whatever, but there's some serious stuff going outside, you know, for us to be here, like, just on some lying.
Yeah, it's terrible. You don't think people don't learn, but they don't learn. But you know, on the subject of lying, yeah. Did you lot see the lies that Rick Ross and Dreams spun?
The thing is, yeah, listen.
Wait. Go on.
The little excerpt no,
Jermaine, look at Ricardo's background. He loves it. He changed it back now. He got stage fright.
Listen. Rick Ross is an opportunist.
Yeah, man, 100%.
And that's okay. But when you're lying to talented people based on what your dick is telling you,
right?
It's just a bit wild because you're dealing with you are trying to position yourself as, you know, the gatekeeper. Like, it was like, you know, with all the energy of nothing's going through to the next round unless I say so. When, like, when you position yourself like that in a position of power, you have a certain responsibility. And when you're just able to listen with your ears, where you've also used them same ears to have major platinum hits or whatever, and people trust your ears, and then you're just you're gonna, you know, see that the sky is blue and say, nah, it's purple or whatever. Do you get me? It's like bro, like, the bitch can't sing. Do you get me? Like, and it's just, if you're not just gonna be honest and be like, well, your vibe is this, and then to the other girl, I prefer that I prefer you on a different vibe or whatever, but don't tell her that she didn't sound as good as the other girl, especially when she's writing an original song and you just can't see where you can slip your things in it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, when it's standing up in front of you.
This is it.
So when you can't see that, it's like, I don't even know, like, Brittany, Just Brittany or whatever, was singing over the track with lackluster vocals, but because it was just like, we've all seen it. We've watched X Factor. We know when the judge just wants to manipulate the situation to their benefit because that's my artist. Like, you know, they didn't perform well. And, but because, you know, that's your team player, like, the respect level goes down when you can see that someone is just gonna lie to benefit themselves. Like, I can't respect his ear. And Dreams was questionable too.
Do you know what? Do you know where you're going with this is what really ticked me off. And just to for people that don't know, Rick Ross had like one of those talent show programs a couple years ago. So this clip isn't new. It's just resurfaced. And basically, in this clip, people are fighting for their position at the next level of the competition. So they go in front of Rick Ross and they present him with a song, and then him and a few other judges.
Beat.
Yeah, and a few other judges in the room will decide if that person progresses to the next round. And so there's we'll put the clip we'll put a link of the clip in the bio so you can see it if you haven't seen it. But basically, there's a girl that goes first, and I think public opinion, and anyone that's seen that clip, the song's okay. It's not that great, and her performance isn't that great. And then there's a girl that comes straight after her who uses the same beat, and the song is completely better. But it just looks like, from our point of view, Rick Ross has made some decisions based on his penis and trying to get with the girl, and just moves that just not great for the culture. And so that's what we're talking about. But what you're talking about, Jermaine, is what I hated about that whole situation, is there was like, another 4 or 5 men in the room, and they all let it unfold. And you can see, even in the first few seconds, they're actually feeling my the second girl, my girl, her thing a lot more. And then when Rick Ross makes his comments, they U-turn. And like you said, someone like Dream, who's penned some of the biggest hits for some of the biggest artists that are in his ears for songwriting and putting songs together, to sit in the room and allow that to happen was very questionable for me, man.
It was the comments, though.
I know.
Your voice is too unique. What the backside?
What does that mean?
What are you talking about, bro?
Negative.
They're in it, like all the best singers, all the legends don't have unique voices. Like, no one sounds like Michael Jackson before Michael Jackson came out. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one sounds like Whitney Houston.
Have you seen the clip? Have you seen the clip later on? I think it progresses on later in the same show or whatever. And him and Rick Ross and Britney are together, and he basically admits, oh yeah, I wanted to get with her, blah blah. We was trying to explore a dating situation, and it's just like, bruv, if you wanted to be, just shut your mouth in that scenario and try and pattern it so you can get
right.
Yeah,
even that is like very, very, very disgusting.
Yeah, that is fully what film is that? What flipping that's coming like some Ray Charles.
Jay, you know what? It's life. And that's what's so disgusting about it. It's not even like these things they're like, do you know what I mean? Someone's written this script and this is life. Like, when that hashtag went kind of viral, I think it was in lockdown, about things that I would do if men weren't around, or if men didn't exist on this earth. And then women were basically saying, I would take a jog in a park, and it was the simplest thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would go to the studio. And you think, when I heard some of these stories, and I felt bad as a man, because obviously I'm walking in my masculinity, or my just being a man. I don't see those things because I never have to worry about, I'm going to rock up to a session, and I never have to worry about the producer just actually trying to get me there so he can do a thing. Do you know what I mean? Or holding my vocals because I didn't give him my number because I'm not letting off pum pum and that. Do you see what I mean? So when to see this, it's like, these things happen. These things happen in real life.
Bro, it's happened to me. Yeah. More than once.
You see it.
Going back to what you're saying, Jermaine, about like, trying to figure out a dating situation. I'm sorry, and I don't want to generalize, and I don't know, people might come for me for this, but you see American men, that's how they get the team. It's the power play. I can put you on. So once I put you on, give me everything where you're
mad.
Don't tell me no, because I've made you and I've created you. So once I've created you and I put you on, then anything I ask for, give it to me. Like, there was an article that he wrote and said something like, he tries not to sign female because he knows he's going to want to get things and it's long. If he's spending his money upon photo shoots, he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to get the thing. Like I've been in LA as a young 20-something-year-old woman pursuing my career under a label situation, been locked in a bathroom for people to gear up things from somebody who manages like one of your old school favorite boy bands. Yeah, locked in a bathroom.
That's mad.
Telling me about Guy the Tin,
Chris Stokes, yeah. No, I'm joking.
And I can
go on.
Just pause on that one because you're not even far. It's not even far. That's not even far removed from that. But yeah, like telling me that they can put me on, and also it's like I mean when I said no, I wasn't on it. He couldn't believe. He was like, I am the boss. Why do you not want to F with the boss?
Him in his bars.
I'm like, I'm an English Jamaican girl, yeah? Rank like what?
Right.
I don't come like these American girls. I'm like, oh, you the boss? I need to get with that. I wasn't on that, bruh. I ain't on that, yeah. Oh, you the boss? I need to get with the boss. No, bro.
It don't work like that.
Fucking loving hip hop.
Yeah, them being shut, Carly Red, them being shut down. They don't even understand it. They're like, what? Mad. Because that's how they leverage, innit? It's like if I'm in a powerful position, you need to be flocking to me, running me down. Man, no, bro, not when you're fucking me in the bathroom telling me I ain't going nowhere. No thanks.
That was the best documented scenario example of what you just said, like, and you kind of like you just baited this whole spiel up in terms of like his critique on the two different singers. You just invalidated yourself later on down the line when you said that you had intentions past the music. So yeah, it's favoritism, and you favored the girl with the least amount of talent in the scenario, but with the biggest batty, and that's fine, bro. But if that's the case, don't put yourself on a panel when you've got people's lives and dreams in your hands. Because when you watch Hustle and Flow, I'm done. Is it Rhymes and Flow?
Oh, the one with Cardi B and
Rhythm and Flow. Sorry,
Rhythm and Flow. Yeah.
They're taking that so seriously, like, and it makes you respect all of their separate journeys. T.I., Chance, and Cardi B. Like even their critiques when they go in studio with them, it's just so accurate and on point, and guiding these people to get them to the goal. Ultimately, like the last contestants, you can see, cool, they've cut it all the way down, so the cream of the crop is the only thing left. And smoke, right? And it's just like even the female artist.
She was
her
sick.
last performance.
The rapper.
I forgot what her name is.
Yeah,
the one that looks like Tiana Taylor, but she performed with Tiana.
Yeah.
Fire. Yeah. And it's just like there was nothing distracting from her talent because it was just about that. Do you get me? Like there was no other ill intentions. T.I. didn't try and move to her. Do you get me saying? Obviously, Tiny will bust his head, but it's just like it's just purely about the talent. And yeah, when I saw that, and when it lets you know what's going like outside when the cameras are off, like what type of madness is going on, like what type of judgment calls are being made, and what type of murder are people getting away with. This has been happening from the beginning of time.
But you know what's mad, like, and not even to take it there, but sometimes I feel like, don't people fear God? Like, don't they feel like they know that the actions will eventually catch them up? And when it does, it's going to be 50 times worse. And it's not going to come at you like you gave it. It's going to come from another angle. Do you know what I mean? And now that's your life. You know another thing, and maybe because I'm a dad of girls, I just feel like especially in that clip, the men in that room had a responsibility to speak up when they saw the bullshit that was going down, and everyone kept quiet because basically Rick Ross is he's the boss. He's feeding them.
Giver. He's the check giver.
He's the check giver. Do you see what I mean? And I can't respect. And I know it's always going to be a fine line between, actually, if I speak up now and I don't have a job, then I can't pay for this, and then I'm homeless, and then my wife's going to bust my head. There's all of that, yeah, jokes aside. But there has to be a point, right, where your integrity says, do you know what? I'm not going to allow this situation to unfold in front of me, no matter what the cost is on the other side, whether that's like financially or what that's going to mean for my career. You've got to get to a point as a human being where your integrity says, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Not everyone's going to have the... I feel like it's changing, and I don't feel like that would have... There's so much televised situations that would never happen now. Like, that scenario probably wouldn't have gone down the same had it been in the past 3 years. Because that was shot time ago. And the same goes for, like, if you watch America's Next Top Model, and the amount of fuckery that Tyra used to get away with, the things she used to say. Yeah.
Which like, is deep because she probably dealt with that as well herself coming up.
Right.
And she ultimately became that.
Yeah.
The I watched some clips the other day and I'm just like, it's scary. Like, telling a black chick, you need to look more glamorous. Like, instead of going for the natural, and this is in a segment of the competition where she's just wearing, she chose, they had to choose their own clothes and what they went for to look, to basically build up a fashion look. And she chose a lot of African garments and bangles and materials and stuff like that. And Tyra was trying to like tear it down and allowed another woman who's not black, Caucasian, I believe, to say like, you know, this African motif that you keep trying to push, like, I'm a bit tired of it, babe. And I'm like, this show would get cancelled after one episode if that happened now. Like, you can't say those types of things, because you wouldn't say that to like an Asian person trying to push any type of Chinese heritage through how they're presenting themselves. Like, why are you threatened by Africa anything? You can't. If you watch America's Top Model, like, obviously, like, I saw one video, it was like they had them doing assault courses. Remember when they had the clock swinging and the chicks had to walk down the runway, and they was getting knocked off and breaking ankles and all sorts, and they just stand there like, oh my god, she mad. And it's just like, what are you doing to these human beings? Like,
all for the name of what, isn't it?
Is this Gladiators, bruv?
Do you know what, Jermaine?
Proper popular. Sorry, go on.
You know, you said some of these shows wouldn't exist nowadays. Is that because people are more aware and conscientious, or people are more afraid of being dragged? Like, what's the motive? Like,
I think it's a bit of both. Okay. I feel like with it being very, very cool to be black anything now, is a factor, and us having a voice and us the way we band together now is different. Do you get me? Like, when there's any type of malfeasance against us, we are not having it no more.
That's true. That's true. Internet shutdown.
You stay there with any type of like public racism, or like against diversity in any way, shape, or form, or say things that's like, what, bro? Do you get me? Like, we are ready. We are ready to be like, you can't say that no more. and now your show is cancelled.
Right.
You get me? Like, and we'll go to the top. Do you get me? Like, to the point where people are now, you know, companies have to oblige and be like, actually, yeah, because employees are now being like, this is the company I'm working for, I'm out. Do you get me? Like, it's really, we're really feeling empowered.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's a bit of both. Like, people are afraid of being dragged by us, and we are much more aware of our power and our value and what we bring to society. The fact that we made our banter and our credibility, made it so how we entertain, made it so Clubhouse, you know, is in a different position. We brought that energy. Do you get me? Like, that was existing way before it was like a Clubhouse, blah, blah, but we brought the culture, we brought the bands, we brought the certain rooms that gave it, like, that put it in the limelight, you know? And we do that to everything. Like, we do that to absolutely everything. Every sport can be white dominated until we pick up the ball or whatever, and it's just like, oh dear.
Yeah,
that's us.
It's true.
And it's not to say that anyone's better than anyone, but it's not our fault that we have been bred to be absolutely amazing, because ultimately, by enslaving us, you made us superheroes.
Well, we were superheroes before that. But
we were superheroes before that. But what you've done, you put the battery in our back.
Right, it's true. It's true.
The higher voltage.
Yeah.
And that's just the facts. Do you get me? And that's where, you know, that's a whole nother situation. But yeah, like, I don't think people can't get away with the bullshit no more.
I'm glad for it. I'm so glad.
Especially when we've learnt how to have our own businesses and not have to adhere to you know, gatekeepers and stuff like that, and it's a very much a sense of community across the world now when it comes to anything black related, because we're done with it now.
We're done.
People been seeing the injustice in it clear as day. So, and you know what, it's mad, because obviously somebody like I guess the Tyras of this world, they came up in a time when they weren't allowed to be black, and instead of trying to change some of them, they've just literally followed on that dead trend / tradition / protocol, you know what I mean, criteria, and encouraged other black women to do the same. But that's never now. It's actually, and I'm glad to see it. But did you guys see the verses between?
Wait. Are we gonna talk about Chris Stokes, or are we gonna just
go on?
How much time?